Deep within the dark web, a group emerged that made not only corporations tremble, but also governments and everyday users. Their name? LulzSec. They didn't just hack systems, they ridiculed a world that blindly trusted in the security of its digital walls. Their laughter was cruel and taunting, and their mission wasn't to make money or achieve political goals, but to create chaos and destroy everything in their path. Disrupting broadcasts, leaking confidential data, and crippling corporate websites. It was all just entertainment for them. Are you ready to discover how they made the entire world shake with fear? Subscribe and get comfortable. We're starting. LulzSec originated from the Anonymous Collective, a group known for its cyber activism and politically motivated cyber attacks. But within that collective emerged a group that felt out of sync with the serious tone of their peers. They thought all that fighting for ideals was too boring. They craved fun and daring challenges, the kind of adrenaline rush you get when you hit enter and unleash code capable of taking down entire server networks. Sabu, a charismatic leader with an exceptional grasp of computer systems, social engineering, and hacking strategies. His charm wasn't just in his technical skills, but in his ability to inspire others and lead them. He was like a conductor in a chaotic orchestra of code and havoc where every member knew their part. At his side stood Topiary, the master of sarcasm and the group's voice on social media. His tweets and messages were laced with dark humor, scathing comments, and merciless jokes at the expense of their targets. He turned technical breaches into full-blown shows, drawing the attention of the media and the public. Kayla, a skilled programmer, known for breaking into even the most secure systems. Though posing as a woman online, in cyberspace, Kayla was a true ghost. Fast, elusive, and incredibly effective T-flow. A vulnerability expert. His specialty was spotting holes in security systems that others would overlook. He hunted for the tiniest gaps and turned them into gateways into heavily guarded networks. AV Unit, the botnet mastermind. With his ability to control thousands of infected computers simultaneously, LulzSec could paralyze websites with massive DDoS attacks, sending companies into a frenzy to find solutions. Sauce, the creative soul of the group, known for finding imaginative ways to infiltrate networks. His methods often seemed absurd, but it was precisely this out-of-the-box thinking that allowed him to breach places others wouldn't dare to try. What united them? Not ideology, not greed. Their common goal was simple: to show the world how fragile security can be, even in the most powerful organizations. But they didn't do it to educate or moralize. They weren't interested in fame in the traditional sense. They cared about something else: laughter. Laughter at corporate arrogance, at the helplessness of governments, at users trusting passwords like password 123. Their laughter echoed from the dark depths of the internet, filled with irony and a brutal truth. No one is safe. The first target of LulzSec was one of the world's largest entertainment corporations, Sony Pictures. The attack wasn't particularly complex. They exploited a common database vulnerability, an SQL injection, an error that seemed trivial for a company of such scale. Yet, it was this negligence that opened the door for the hackers to access the personal data storage of millions of users. Within hours, LulzSec obtained massive amounts of confidential information: passwords, email addresses, dates of birth, and other personal data. They didn't hide what they had acquired or sell it on the black market. On the contrary, everything was made publicly available as if it were just another joke. But the most striking part wasn't the breach itself, but the audacity with which it was carried out. In their official statement, LulzSec didn't hold back on sarcasm. "Your security is a joke. We almost fell asleep while breaking into your system. Hopefully you didn't use the same password for all sites. Lulz." This comment hit Sony's cybersecurity like a slap in the face. The media instantly exploded with loud headlines. News feeds were flooded with phrases like, "Millions of Sony users at risk," "LulzSec humiliates corporations," and "When will this end?" Users' anger, fearing for their data, intertwined with the fear of other corporations that suddenly realized if Sony had fallen, they could be next. For LulzSec, this was just the beginning. Their confidence grew with every new hack, and their jokes became increasingly brazen. The next target was the American television network Fox. Here, the hackers decided not just to breach the system, but to put on a show. They flooded the website with fake news resembling absurd tabloid headlines. The loudest sensation claimed that famous TV host Bill O'Reilly had allegedly been fired over a scandal. The news appeared so believable that thousands of people fell for it, and social media platforms were filled with memes and discussions. LulzSec watched from the sidelines, enjoying the public's reaction. But they didn't stop there. Next in line was PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, a respected television network known for its serious documentaries. And what did LulzSec do? They posted a sensational announcement on the site. Tupac Shakur is alive and living in Cuba. The claim about the legendary rapper's resurrection instantly went viral. Some users laughed, while others confusedly asked, "What if it's true?" The press, albeit skeptical, was forced to debunk the information, wasting time and resources on fighting the fabrication. All these attacks had one thing in common: impunity and mockery. LulzSec didn't hide in the shadows or stay silent about their actions. On the contrary, they openly mocked their victims, demonstrating to the world how fragile digital security truly is. Their goal was simple yet terrifying: to ridicule and show that any serious institution could be destroyed if someone desired it. And what's worse, they did it not for money or fame. They did it for the lulz. In June 2011, the LulzSec group reached the peak of its activity by announcing a project that went down in cybersecurity history: the 50 Days of Lulz. This was not just a series of attacks, it was a show, a spectacle unfolding in real time, where each victim became a stage, and millions of viewers worldwide watched the hackers' actions with a mix of shock, fear, and fascination. The 50 Days of Lulz lasted for a month and a half. The goal? Anyone, anytime. They did not limit themselves. There were no targets too big or too small. The principle was simple: chaos for fun. And they kept their word. Each attack played out like a performance, carefully orchestrated to shock, entertain, and humiliate their targets. One day, and it became a sensation, LulzSec hacked the CIA website, temporarily taking it down. The fact that a group of internet pranksters could paralyze one of the world's most heavily guarded websites stunned everyone. While official CIA representatives remained silent, LulzSec posted bold jokes on their Twitter saying, "Oops, seems like we pressed the wrong button. Or were you just not ready?" Next, gaming platforms became targets. Servers of giants like League of Legends and Minecraft went down one by one. Millions of users worldwide suddenly lost access to their favorite games. Furious players flooded social media with curses, but for LulzSec, this was part of the fun. They even quipped, "Maybe it's time to go for a walk. The sun is so bright today." Lulz. This period became the apex. Their victims were diverse, from law enforcement and government websites to large corporations and entertainment services. No one could predict who would be next. Fear spread through the internet like a wave, and the media struggled to figure out who was behind this chaos. Their campaign's symbol was an ASCII art boat, a simple text-based drawing that became their signature on hacked websites. The boat embodied freedom, anarchy, and digital rebellion. It sailed through protected systems as easily as through oceans of data, leaving behind only laughter and disorder. But the most audacious part of the 50 Days of Lulz was the public communication with the audience. The hackers did not hide in the dark corners of the dark web. They openly ran a Twitter account, where they commented on their actions in real time, trolled journalists, and taunted law enforcement. The press eagerly quoted their posts, but LulzSec just laughed. "We're not somewhere deep in the web. We're here, among you. Hi." One of the loudest tweets came from a member under the nickname Topiary. "Another day, another hack. Who's next? Lulz over everything." This phrase became the manifesto of the chaos era that LulzSec created. Their actions demonstrated not only the weakness of modern security systems, but also how vulnerable society itself was, reacting in panic to jokes that turned into a global threat. But every show has its finale. What started as a fun adventure for LulzSec quickly turned into an international manhunt. Their audacity and open provocations on Twitter entertained the public, but at the same time attracted the attention of not only journalists, but also the world's most powerful law enforcement agencies. The FBI, Scotland Yard, and intelligence agencies across Europe joined forces in a relentless pursuit of the hackers who had become the very embodiment of digital chaos. The hunt was massive. The latest tracking technologies were used. Analysts monitored every LulzSec tweet around the clock, trying to predict the time and place of the next attack. Cybersecurity experts tracked network activity, looking for traces that could reveal the members' locations. Informants in the dark web were even deployed to gather insider information. But the greatest irony? Their downfall wasn't due to external pressure. It was betrayal from within. In August 2011, the public was shocked by the news. LulzSec's leader, known as Sabu, had actually been arrested back in June. Even more shocking was that he had agreed to cooperate with the FBI. For several months, Sabu remained active online, communicating with other LulzSec members as if nothing had happened. But behind the scenes was a complex special operation. Every message he sent was carefully documented by agents. The IP addresses of his correspondents were added to intelligence databases. Plans for future attacks discussed in chats were immediately passed on to investigation teams. For the team members, this was a stab in the back. Trust, the foundation of any hacking community, was destroyed. The person they considered an unbreakable leader had ended up on the other side. Thanks to this trust breach, a series of coordinated arrests were carried out in different countries. In Scotland, Topiary, the voice and public face of LulzSec who ran their Twitter, was detained. His arrest symbolized the media end of the group. In the United Kingdom, Kayla, the genius hacker responsible for the technical side of operations and the security of communication channels, was caught. In Portugal, Special Services captured Tiflo, a young but extremely talented coder. The trials that followed the arrests turned into media spectacles. The press closely followed every hearing and every statement from the prosecution. Prosecutors labeled LulzSec as terrorists of the digital age, while defense attorneys tried to argue that they were young idealists fighting the system. The sentences varied. Some received suspended terms, taking into account their age and cooperation with the investigation. Others ended up behind bars, receiving actual prison terms for large-scale breaches and damages. These court cases became some of the most high-profile events in the cyber world, marking not only the end of the 50 days of lulz, but also a new era in how hacker groups were perceived. The world realized fun can have serious consequences. Over 10 years have passed since LulzSec ended its notorious campaign. Once a formidable yet ironic group of hackers, they have become legends of the internet. Most of its members have served their sentences and faded from public view. But their influence has proven more enduring than any prison term. Their boat, the symbol of LulzSec's name, did not sink in users' memories. Instead, it became part of internet folklore, with stories of their antics passed down like myths where reality intertwines with fiction. Forms of protest in cyberspace have changed, but the spirit of defiance sown by LulzSec lives on. Modern hacktivists choose different methods, using more sophisticated technologies. Yet the idea of exposing vulnerabilities to attract public attention remains unchanged. For some, LulzSec were criminals playing with global security. For others, they were a mirror reflecting the world's digital fragility. Their attacks were never random. Each target served as criticism of a certain structure or phenomenon. They offered no solutions, only highlighted problems, making even those who preferred to look away take notice. The cybersecurity industry, rattled by their actions, underwent a seismic shift. Global corporations increased investments in protection many times over. Users became more cautious. Complex passwords, two-factor authentication, and vigilance against phishing emails. This is partly LulzSec's legacy. Ironically, their attacks, aimed at amusing themselves and the internet community, became a catalyst for serious changes in digital culture. What's most intriguing is that the ambivalence toward them has not faded. One can condemn their methods, but it's hard to ignore their message. They played with the world like children who discovered others' secrets and put them on display. Was it a crime or a form of protest? The question remains open. Although LulzSec has long vanished from the radar, somewhere in the vast sea of the internet, you can still hear the echo of their laughter. In the dark sea of the internet, there will always be someone who wants to ride the waves of chaos. And even if we're gone, our lulz are forever. These were the final words of their farewell statement. Now, as we turn the pages of internet history, it's hard to disagree. Laughter, even if sarcastic, has proven louder than any attempt to silence it. After the disbandment of the LulzSec hacker group in 2011, many of its members were arrested and convicted. Here's information about some of them. Hector Xavier Monsegur, Sabu. In May 2014, he received a time-served sentence and was released under 1 year of supervision. After his release, he worked in cybersecurity as a white hat hacker. Ryan Aykroyd, Kayla, a British hacker who posed as a woman under the pseudonym Kayla. He was arrested in September 2011 and pleaded guilty in April 2013 to violating computer security laws. He received 30 months in prison. After release, he earned a master's degree in information systems security and became a junior lecturer at Sheffield Hallam University. He currently holds the position of lead penetration testing specialist at the Hut Group. Jake Davis, Topiary, a British hacker responsible for running LulzSec's Twitter account. Arrested in July 2011 in the Shetland Islands, he pleaded guilty to involvement in hacking attacks in June 2012. After serving his sentence, he stepped away from public hacker-related activities. Darren Martin, Poundsauce, Irish hackers arrested and charged for LulzSec-related activities in March 2012. Information about their subsequent activities remains limited. Jeremy Hammond, Anarchaos, an American hacker linked to both LulzSec and Anonymous. Arrested in March 2012 for hacking the private intelligence firm Stratfor in December 2011. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison in November 2013. LulzSec's story is a reminder of how vulnerable the digital world can be, and the consequences awaiting those who choose the path of chaos. Their actions shook corporations, governments, and millions of users worldwide, leaving a mark on cybersecurity history. What do you think about LulzSec's activities? Were their actions justified in the name of lulz, or were they simply crimes? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more captivating stories.